Welcome to Catholic News World.
Welcome to Catholic News World. Please subscribe to our channel. My name is Steph. Here are this week's breaking news headlines.
According to the Catholic Patriarch of Jerusalem, on December 16, 2023, a sniper reportedly of the Israel Defense Forces murdered 2 Christian women at the compound of the Holy Family Parish in Gaza, Palestine. Hundreds of people have been sheltering there since the war began. The victims Naheda and her daughter Samar were shot and killed as they walked to the convent of Mother Teresa's sisters. One was killed as she tried to carry the other to safety. 7 more people were shot and wounded as they tried to protect others inside the church compound. Patriarch Pier Battista Pizzaballa explained that no warning was given, no notification was provided. They were shot in cold blood on the premises of the parish compound, where there are no belligerents. Earlier that morning, a rocket was fired from an IDF tank targeted the convent of the Sisters of Mother Teresa, Missionaries of Charity. The convent was home to over 54 disabled persons and is part of the church compound, which was signaled as a place of worship since the beginning of the war. The building's generator, the only source of electricity, and the fuel resources were destroyed. The house was damaged by the resulting explosion and massive fire. 2 more rockets, fired by an IDF tank, targeted the same convent and rendered the home uninhabitable. The 54 disabled persons are currently displaced and without access to the respirators that some of them need to survive. In addition, as a result of the heavy bombing in the area, 3 people were wounded inside the church compound last night. Furthermore, solar panels and water tanks, which are indispensable for the survival of the community, were destroyed. Together in prayer with the whole Christian community, we express our closeness and condolences to the families affected by this senseless tragedy. At the same time, we cannot but express that we are at a loss to comprehend how such an attack could be carried out, even more so as the whole Church prepares for Christmas. The Catholic Priestly Fraternity of St. Peter, a traditional clerical society of apostolic life of pontifical right, has lost one of its members. Father Miguel Stegmaier, age 47, died tragically in a fire at one of their religious houses in Germany. The German FSSP wrote, "It is with a heavy heart that we announce that our brother Father Miguel Stegmaier died in an accident late in the evening of December 19th. At the time of the accident, Father Stegmaier and 3 other people were staying in a Brotherhood house in the Hof district of Upper Franconia. He had already retreated to his room when his roommates noticed a fire breaking out. They tried to rescue Father Stegmaier from his room, but the heavy smoke and heat made this impossible. Only the emergency services from the fire department who were alerted were able to rescue him. However, the resuscitation measures initiated were unsuccessful. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation." Miguel Stegmaier was born on May 13, 1976 in Santiago de Chile. His time at a Jesuit school in his native Chile was formative for him, where he acquired a love for worship and the Latin language at an early age. In 1996, he entered the St. Peter's Seminary in Weigratsbad and was ordained a priest for the Brotherhood on June 21, 2003. From 2003 to 2020, Father Stegmaier worked in our apostolate in Cologne. His cheerful nature and his zeal for the liturgy won many hearts there. The FSSP wrote on Facebook, "Please pray for the repose of the soul of Father Miguel Stegmaier FSSP, who died accidentally in a fire last night in our house St. Adelheid in Langenbach, Germany. He was ordained for the fraternity on June 21, 2003. The Auxiliary Bishop Emeritus, Nikolaus Schwertfeger, age 75, of Germany, was attacked at home and is in intensive care. Hildesheim Auxiliary Bishop Schwertfeger was attacked in his own home. The Diocese of Hildesheim wrote, "Hildesheim Auxiliary Bishop Emeritus Dr. Nikolaus Schwertfeger was attacked and seriously injured by an unknown person in a physical attack on Saturday evening in his home in Lautzen. He suffered a wound to his face, 2 broken ribs and a small injury to his lung, which required intensive care. He is now on the mend." The people in the Diocese of Hildesheim are very close to Auxiliary Bishop Schwertfeger in this situation. "We wish him a speedy recovery and pray for him," said Bishop Heiner Wilmer after visiting the sick together with Auxiliary Bishop Heinz Gunter Bongartz. The NDR reported, according to the police, there was an argument in front of or in the priest's apartment on Saturday evening. A previously unknown man is said to have rang the 75-year-old's doorbell. After Schwertfeger opened the door, he was insulted and shortly afterward punched and pushed so that he fell, the police said. The details of the violent act are still unknown. The parish of St. Oliver writes that the perpetrator was a peddler. A Catholic nun, Sister Nabila Saleh of the Holy Family Church in Gaza, pleads with world leaders. In an interview with Vatican News, Sister Nabila Saleh, who is sheltering at the Catholic Church in Gaza, says world leaders must open their eyes on catastrophe in Gaza. In addition to this, Caritas Internationalis, along with several of the Confederation's 162 national Caritas, joined on Monday, a global day of action calling for a ceasefire now in the Gaza Strip and Israel to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe and further loss of innocent lives. The death toll is at 20,000 people killed, with the majority of the deaths being women and children. The petition involves more than 800 organizations worldwide and has already gathered more than 1.5 million signatures. People throughout the world must unite and say with one united global voice, enough is enough. Cease fire. Stop this brutal bombardment. International political leaders must urge Israel and Hamas to a ceasefire in the Holy Land, said Alistair Dutton, Caritas Internationalis Secretary General. Sister Nabila Saleh of the Holy Family Catholic Parish in Gaza spoke to Vatican News about the two parishioners killed by Israeli snipers on December 16, as the Catholic ordinaries also issued new appeal for peace. We ask world leaders to open their eyes on the relentless death and destruction, killing of children and innocents. After over 70 days of war, the nun of the Congregation of the Rosary of Jerusalem was present on December 16, when Naheda Khalil Anton and her daughter Samar Kamal Anton, two parishioners living in the compound, were shot. Sister Saleh described to Vatican News what happened that day. Naheda, the mother, was shot dead by some snipers stationed in the houses on the rear, and as soon as the daughter saw her mother fall, she went to help her, but she was also hit on the head. She said, adding that the parishioners hardly managed to recover one body, while they had to wait a long time before retrieving the other. The nun is traumatized because she actually saw the incident, and because Israeli tanks have now surrounded the church and shooting is constant, making it almost impossible to go out of the building even to find food, of which they are in desperate need. Sister Nabila explained that Israeli forces have ordered the community not to go out after 4 p.m. Snipers are everywhere and tension is constant, while the compound has no electricity and drinking water, she said. Nevertheless, she added, we are grateful to God that, until now at least, there have been no more deaths, and we pray that this war ends very soon. Israeli authorities had been warned that almost the entire Gazan Christian community is sheltered there. Here there are no weapons, and there are no Muslims, Sister Nabila said. The church is now also sheltering the 7 people injured during Saturday's incident who need treatment. The vicar Father Yusuf has asked for help, but given the ongoing fighting in the area, they don't know when and if it will arrive, said Sister Nabila. Among the refugees in the Holy Family Parish there are also several children, many of whom are disabled or sick. All of them, she said, are eager to prepare for Christmas, but it will be difficult. The birth of Jesus always fills our hearts with joy, despite everything, and we will try to prepare for Christmas as best we can. And as the humanitarian tragedy continues to unfold across Gaza, the Assembly of the Catholic Ordinaries of the Holy Land also launched another impassioned plea for the immediate end of the war. In a Christmas message released on Monday, their Justice and Peace Commission recalled the 20,000 men, women and children, Palestinian and Israeli, who have been killed in the past 70 days or so. The war has taken an enormous toll on an entire generation of our children, who live in daily fear for themselves and their families, read the message. In Gaza, more Palestinian children have been killed in the last 2 months than in the preceding 2 years of war in all of the conflicts worldwide. The war has taken an enormous toll on an entire generation of our children, who live in daily fear for themselves and their families. Since the outbreak of the conflict on October 7, about 2 million people, more than 85% of Gaza's population, have been displaced, and most of them are without shelter and constantly on the move. We lament the loss of life, fear for the wounded who have little access to medical care, and are anguished for the homeless, the Catholic religious leaders said. In the face of such immense tragedy, they asked all those celebrating Christmas in the world to pray for peace in the Holy Land, and urged world leaders to act to end the war immediately and facilitate a path towards a just peace based on equality. We pray for peace in Bethlehem, in Gaza, and all over the Holy Land. We pray for an end to violence and the release of all captives. We pray for a permanent ceasefire and for the dawning of a time of dialogue instead of oppression, of justice instead of imposed solutions, of living together instead of the dream of getting rid of one another.
Watch our programme every Friday at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to Catholic News World channel. God bless.
Please subscribe to Catholic News World's YouTube channel. Thanks and God bless.